Back in January 2014, Prime Minister Stephen Harper was scheduled to make his first official trip to Israel and Jordan. It was an exceptional trip in that rather than just take a few political aides, ministers, and government staff, the Prime Minister invited 208 individuals to be part of his official delegation. NCCM, whose mandate includes promoting an inclusive Canada and fighting bigotry, found out that a certain Rabbi Daniel Kropkin had been invited to join the Prime Minister's delegation.
Well, that's a clip from a video posted to the NCCM's website. The acronym stands for the National Council of Canadian Muslims, and it calls itself an independent, non-profit advocacy group that started over a decade ago here in Ottawa. Well, this week, the NCCM is taking on the Prime Minister's office. Yesterday, it served the PMO with a defamation suit over comments made by the Prime Minister's spokesperson. Jeff Sakeley is the group's lawyer, and we've reached him on the line. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
So let's talk about that official delegation to the Middle East back in January. What did the NCCM object to the rabbi's presence? Why did it object?
Well, Hallie, it started with an open letter to the Prime Minister when they found out that that rabbi was invited to be part of the official delegation. And the issue that they took with the invitation was that that rabbi in particular had been supportive of two individuals that were, anti-Muslim and had made some rather extremist remarks, and so they questioned the Prime Minister's decision to invite that rabbi as part of the delegation.
In that open letter. So what response did the NCCM get to that letter?
Well, that's what this whole lawsuit is about. Instead of taking criticism and responding to the actual criticism, the PMO responded with an attack directly onto the organization, saying that they wouldn't take seriously criticisms from an organization that, quote, had documented ties to a terrorist organization such as Hamas. That's the allegation.
Those were comments made by Jason McDonald, the communications executive for the PMO?
Correct.
What kind of work does the NCCM do?
Well, they're a public advocacy group that promotes human rights, civil liberties for the Muslim communities in Canada and for interfaith communities as well. They intervene before the Supreme Court of Canada. They appear before public inquiries. I mean, their engagement in public life is significant and widespread. They're really an organization that's been in Canada for 14 years and have done a lot of work. I mean, their work is all laid out on our website. They're quite engaged.
We played a part of the video from the NCCM's website, but if you listen to the whole thing, there comes along a section about where these allegations that Jason McDonald made come from. Can you explain?
Well, that's the real puzzling part about this, Hallie, is that we're actually not sure where these allegations come from. We know that he's alleged that there's documented ties to a terrorist organization, and the organization has been searching to find what exactly that refers to. And from what we can tell, there's some past history that they're trying to say, by a game of association, guilt by association, that these are documented ties, and we've gone through them. And on that video that you're referring to, I've tried to explain away that these are not, in fact, documented ties, that the organization has no ties to any terrorist organization, especially not Hamas. But
that video takes several minutes to explain the relationship between the NCCM, its former title, CARCAN, the American branch of it, I guess you could say.
Right.
Why do you take such pains to explore that relationship?
Well, that appears to be what some of the detractors have said in the past. There's been defamation suits in the past because of that particular link between the CARE in the U.S. and the NCCM in Canada. And so that link in particular, we believed, was part of the background for the comment that was made. And so we've tried to go through the history to explain that there are no links. Those two organizations have always been completely independent. If there's any allegation with respect to CARE US, and we don't believe there are, they've also been explained away, and they've all been cleared. If there is potentially that link there, we want to explain that fact has nothing to do with us, and that the NCCM has no ties whatsoever.
It's not very common for people to sue the PMO. Why did the NCCM decide to go that direction?
that's a good question, Ali. I mean, if you think about the NCCM today, they've been doing great work for 14 years, but with the highest office of the land making a significantly negative and defamatory remarks like that, they have no choice but to either get a retraction, take that statement off the public record, or go to court and get convince a court that in fact is defamatory and have a judgment that confirms that the statement is false. Otherwise, that statement lingers over them and it really affects their credibility. It's one of the most significant things you can say about a Muslim group post 9/11 in our society today. So they have no choice but to address it, take it head on, and of course it's the PMO. It's not an easy challenge, but they've taken it on. They have to deal with it. They have to have a court address it because the Prime Minister's office hasn't taken any steps to retract the statement to date.
In fact, the council asked for an apology when it filed a notice of libel back in January. Have you heard anything at all from the PMO in the intervening months?
Yes, we've had discussions. And we've tried to come to a resolution of the matter, and unfortunately we just can't agree. And so we had to take the step. And in litigation, there's always more opportunities to have discussions and try to resolve the matter and come to an agreement. And we're hopeful. We really want the retraction, and we're hoping that the Prime Minister's office comes to the table again. Is
a retraction enough?
Well, it's a start. I mean, if the statement is removed from the public record, that would be a significant step, and that's what we've told the Prime Minister's office we're looking for as a really basic step. And once that's done, the rest I'm sure can be worked out.
You mean money?
There's obviously significant resources that have gone into this, and that'll have to be discussed. And if we can arrive at an agreement there too, then that's fine.
Do you have any reason to believe that Jason McDonald's comments were informed by some other person's opinion, or were they sort of off the cuff? And in any case, will that form part of your suit?
We're not sure. That's the problem. I mean, the NCCM has a long history in Canada working alongside law enforcement agencies. Their board members are well known to RCMP and to others. We're not sure where this is coming from, and part of the lawsuit is going to be a discovery process where we find out exactly what the basis is. And to be honest, at this point, we don't know.
Jeff, thank you for helping us understand this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Alan.
Jeff Sakeley is the lawyer representing the National Council of Canadian Muslims. It served the Prime Minister's office with this libel lawsuit yesterday.